So the rules have not changed. They are as they were explained to you by the secretary, but also as I indicated them to you last time, you have a duty to tell the truth, nothing but the truth. You have a duty to answer all the questions that are asked, and you have a duty to conduct yourself with respect. And just to remind also those that are in the room, you have a duty to refrain from interrupting the proceedings here, either through phones that are ringing or producing any sound, or moving up and down, or acting in any way that disrupts the proceedings. So, Mr. Babe, let's just, because this is a follow-up hearing, it's not, we are not starting from scratch. So we want to just go straight to the point. You appeared before us last time. Do you, when you after you appeared before us, there were several other witnesses that came. Have you been following the proceedings of this commission?
A bit when not busy.
Okay, but some of them
yes,
you followed them. Not everything.
Not entirely. Not entirely. Yes.
Yeah. So I think what we would like to do is to give you an opportunity to either share information that maybe there might be something that you said earlier and you think you want to clarify, or you want to correct, or you want to expand, right? I think we want to give you that opportunity first, and then we may have follow-up questions that we might want to also ask you. So, anything you want to clarify?
Can I do it in Creole?
Yes, you can do it. You can speak in Creole. And, just give him the opportunity to interpret.
Thank you. Merci beaucoup. L'autre fois, les moitiés apparaissent devant la commission.
Last time when I appeared before the commission,
Je comprends un peu qu'il y a quelque chose qui passe.
I understood a bit how are things going.
Moi aussi, écoute un petit peu comment on est busy, les autres témoins qui viennent.
I also listened a bit about the testimonies of the other witnesses that came.
So, on croit qu'il y a quelque chose qui m'a besoin d'aller un petit peu plus loin là.
And I think that there are things that I need to go a bit deeper on.
Moi, pour commencer un petit peu sa special ops.
I will start on the special ops.
Special ops qui est connu comme Ibu. Special ops team. Montagne, quand Montagne commissionné la police, Montagne les officiers qui forment partie sa team.
When I was the police commissioner, I had officers who were part of that team.
Sa team operate from State House.
That team operated at State House.
So mon bons officiers sont attachés avec eux.
So my officers were attached with them.
Zotin fait beaucoup d'opérations.
They conducted a lot of operations.
Un bon peu d'opérations qui pas nécessairement qui m'ont au courant.
A lot of operations whereby I was not necessarily made aware.
Il y en a l'opération néanmoins qui n'a pas discuté.
There were operations nonetheless that were discussed upon
State House.
at State House.
Ça m'en au courant. Mais Raymond dit les autres pas nécessairement les autres n'ont pas au courant.
That I was made aware, but like I stated, the rest I was not made aware.
Just one question. Who requested the establishment of such a team, the special ops team?
Président avant.
The former president.
Mon,
before you continue, you mentioned that there are some operations that you were not made aware of. So when you say operations, what are you talking about?
L'opération supposée narcotique.
Supposedly anti-narcotics.
Okay.
Okay, you said the president is the person who established the special ops team. But was there a request made, or did anyone find that there was something missing that they needed to have a special ops team?
Bon, hier, on écoute un peu proceeding. On est censé écouter un petit peu proceeding les monsieur Waou, Chapé, Poseé.
Yesterday I had the chance to listen to the proceedings while Mr. Wawu was deliberating.
Moi, envie éclaircir quelque chose.
I want to clear out something.
Les nous type phase out Anti-Narcotics Bureau, ANB.
When we were phasing out the Anti-Narcotics Bureau, the ANB,
Les B, c'était à cause d'un special team pour drogue.
the goal was, since it was a special team for the drugs,
So it was NDA and then ANB.
so it was NDA and then ANB before that.
Mon plan, moi, avec tout les choses qui sont around ça ban les tanks drogue,
My plan with all the issues that were around during those times with regards to drugs,
c'était every police officer, tous les officiers de la police. Il y en a sa power pour les exécuter aucun arrest ou soit aucun quelque chose qu'il y en a pour faire avec narcotique.
was that every police officer shall have the power to execute any arrest with regards to anti-narcotics.
So, mon vie clarifier quelque chose qui n'a pas le temps qui m'ont dit pour dire on n'a pas homme ou mon pas capable handle narcotique.
Clarify something that there was no point in time whereby I said that I lacked the men to support the operations with regards to anti-narcotics.
So, when the 10th Amendment come into place, en effet, 10th Amendment, mon rappel, mon tial, de l'Assemblée pour ça,
When the 10th Amendment came into place, in fact, I recall going to the National Assembly for that.
on peut pas imaginer si the then DCP Songwa check moi, mais mon rappel, mon tial,
I do not recall if DCP Sangwa was with me that time, but I recall that I went.
mais pour moi, sous les mandements, c'est un fait accompli.
But for me, if you ask me, it was something that was accomplished.
You mean you were not aware, or you didn't participate? 1 minute. Or you didn't participate in any discussion regarding the 10th Amendment?
M'entendez, puis cause là, mon rappel, mon al de l'Assemblée,
I heard talking about it and recall going to the
Et mon
assembly.
petit quelque
1
chose.
minute. Before you go to the National Assembly, the 10th Amendment would have been discussed at a certain level within government, and was the police yourself, as the Commissioner of Police, implicated in that group over the discussion of the 10th Amendment?
exactement, il est un peu difficile pour moi de dire, mais seulement il y
It
a
cannot be
cause.
difficult for you to state,
Oui, oui.
because it's either you were part of the team or part of the group who were discussing the bringing in of the 10th Amendment,
Sorry.
or you were not part of it. It cannot be something that is difficult to.
Non,
Yeah.
directement pas trop vite, non?
Directly part of it, no.
Okay, but prior to it being brought before the National Assembly, obviously somebody would have discussed it with you.
Les mots que dit National Assembly, m'a fait clair, pas le sitting, mais avec peut-être groupe pour sécurité.
When I say the
Par-
National Assembly, to make things clear, not the sitting of
the
the
sitting.
National Assembly, but with the group of security.
So, là, tu as discuté, et mon rappel, moi, tu dis quelque chose.
So there, it was decided, and I recall saying something.
Moi, tu dis, quand nous besoin militaire, nous request. Il y a une emergency ou quelque chose peut déclencher, peut escalader.
I said that when we will need the military, we will request for it for when things escalate.
nous habitués les things escalate, request the assistance of the military.
We had the habit of requesting the assistance of the military when things escalated.
So peut-être mon petit PC, mon petit lava, mon petit PC, il fait comprendre pour dire, peut-être that was enough, that was it.
And I was trying to make them understand that that was enough and that was it.
C'est même ça qui m'ont dit, pour dire, it was like a fait accompli, done deal. I'm seeing fini.
That's
Il
why
gagne dit et il gagne fait.
I said that it was a done deal, something that was accomplished, something that was said, and then it was done or acted upon.
When you voiced this part that you said that normally why should we do this? In fact, when we need help from the military, we can call upon them. What answer did you get from the from the people in the security group at the National Assembly?
Pas pour rappeler exactement, mais seulement exact word qu'il a dit, mais seulement comme s'il n'a pas d'un qui grave, n'a pas d'un qui est différent.
I do not recall the exact words that was said, but nothing would. There was nothing that would be aggravated. It would be the same with regards to the military.
Mais après à longueur du temps qui mon travail, m'ont réalisé que peut-être un mistake.
And then along the line, when I was working, I realized that maybe it was a mistake.
À cause c'est que des différentes entités et l'ouvrage de la police avec pour militaire est complètement différent.
Firstly, I will take it by steps, is that there are two different entities in play and the work of the police and the military are different.
Dans le sens qui ou besoin un bon peu d'entraînement.
In the sense that you need a lot of training.
À cause nos mandats, nous passons pensée, nos exécutions, pour faire quelque chose est différent.
Because our mandate, our way of thinking, our execution of doing things are different.
À cause way back, nous te demandons support quand c'est nécessaire, les autres viennent.
Because way back we asked for the support when it was necessary and they would come.
Mais là, on fait un amendement constitutionnel comme ça.
But when you make an amendment under the constitution like that,
Ou donne aux autres ça l'ouverture pour les autres opérer.
you give them that opening for them to operate.
Et qui est arrivé,
And what
par exemple,
happened?
dit certaines opérations, on va pas connaître les autres faire.
Certain
Because on
operations
the
that
way-
would not be made aware when they are conducted.
On dit que les autres dans sa mandat, les autres.
So I want us to be specific. Which operations were you not made aware of? I know you said anti-narcotics, but can we
Anti-narcotics.
talk about the specific details of the operations that you were not made aware of?
Par exemple, pour standard pour dire il y en a une complainte in vient faire côté internal affairs.
For example, you would just hear that a complaint has been instituted at the internal affairs.
Et il peut dire il y en a un groupe de masques
That would say that there are a group wearing masks
in vient côté saute.
that came to their residence.
Soit il peut dire oui, il gagne assaulted,
Either they would say that they were assaulted,
ou soit il peut dire on la zone gagne pour en dire il passe code garde son lendemain après les passer code garde il dit à quoi ça c'est un code garde il n'a pas l'argent.
or that their money would be taken and that they would be informed to report to the police station the next day. And when they would report to the police station in particular would inform them that there's no money.
Ou soit il peut dire il gagne calotte dans figure,
Or they would say that they were slapped in the face,
ou son loto il gagne endommagé.
or their car has been damaged.
So
But when you talk about these operations, now it seems like you're saying that the military was undertaking these operations. Obviously, there were officers from the police who were involved in these operations. So you would have been made aware. If any complaints is made, at least your officers as police officers would come to you or you would have investigated any complaints that there is and get your officers to give you a briefing as to what happened.
Zot pour le côté internal affairs, si l'enquête commence à faire, internal affairs pour question des autres.
Internal affairs, when the investigation starts, internal affairs will question them.
Mais qui m'a gagné fait comprendre avec internal affairs, il sait que ça ban l'opération. Souvent fois dans des garde, on tient dans si mon imagine.
But what I was made to understand from internal affairs, most of the time there are
Cap
only
yard
one police
imagine.
officer.
Capable un petit peu plus slightly, un petit peu plus. Mais seulement les autres fait l'opération, ça qui internal affairs n'importe comment c'est 10 garde qui parmi. Et ça garde, il libre pareil, nous était là, pas de masque.
And from what I was made understand from the internal affairs, like I stated, that most of the time when they would go on operations, there would be only one police officer with them, and that person would be dressed as a civilian like us.
So you realize that the idea behind the 10th Amendment was for the police to assist, for the military to assist the police, not for the military to undertake operations themselves. It's only when the police has an operation and they needed assistance, then they would call for the military to assist.
Yes, mon comprend ça bien, mon comprend.
Yes, I understand that
On
well.
comprend, mais
So you're
malheureusement,
telling me that was not happening?
non, en existence, c'est différent.
No, it existed differently.
Mais, aussi, tu as un travail conjoint qui tu gagnes faire. Ça m'a besoin de dire aussi, tu as un travail conjoint qui tu gagnes faire.
But
Mais
there
ça,
were-
pas pour gagner une complainte as such.
There were joint operations or works that were conducted, and for these operations or work, we would not get complaint as such.
So you said in practice it was not. So we want you to explain what it was, because you've said it was not. So we want you to tell us what was it like before you move
Yes.
on. Yeah.
Mais en pratique, oui, en pratique, ça team qui gagne ça par Captain Anil Bristol.
In practice, that team was being in charge by Captain Anil Bristol.
Et tu en as,
Before Captain Bristol took charge of that team. Before that, it was Officer Fred Payet, I believe.
Fred, Major Payet.
Major Payet, okay.
Oui, oui.
He was the one
Yes.
who was in.
Oui.
Yes.
Mais dans ça, les temps, tu n'as pas ça quantité issues.
But during those times, there were not that many issues.
You mean the
Les Major Payet, tu es encore là.
When
Tu prends
Major
ça,
Payet
sa
was
team.
still there,
Tu prends ça, team.
was
Tu
still
n'as
in
pas
charge
ça
of that
bonne.
team.
Tu n'as pas bonne complainte.
There was no such complaints.
But there were operations that were undertaken. Mr. Payet would be the one taking charge of such operations without the police being involved. You would agree with me?
Oui,
Yes.
oui. Oui. Il y en a certaines opérations qui. C'est moi qui m'en paye sa volume.
There were certain
Ici, pas la quantité qui paraît là combien.
operations,
You're
but
talking
what
about
I'm saying is that the volume
Sorry.
Le
was
volume
not
of bonne complainte.
the same amount
Okay.
as it is now, the
But
complaints.
definitely, Mr. Payet, when he was heading that unit, he was undertaking operations that was not necessarily the police leading. It was him leading these operations, and you will agree with me that you were sometimes made aware of these operations.
Oui.
Yes.
Il y a certaines opérations peut-être qui m'ont pour mettre à ouais.
There are
À
certain
cause
operations
il y en a
that
bonne
was made
discussion, il y en a qui
aware,
fait qui en a discussion qui gagne fait.
because there are some that discussions are done,
But sometimes these operations are undertaken by Officer Payet, okay? And then you are in a WhatsApp group, and then messages will be sent around, and you will just acknowledge that such things had happened. You were part of the
WhatsApp.
group, yeah. But you didn't, yes?
Oui, mais unfortunately, les autres sont allés. Des fois, mon parent m'a dit, l'autre tout ban séquence qu'ils ont pu faire.
Yes,
Mais
but
ça,
unfortunately, sometimes they would just go, and I am not made aware maybe about where they go, their operations.
Mr. Babi, with respect, being the Commissioner of Police and being on the WhatsApp group, whereby all these things are being discussed, you must have had concerns because the operations should be led by the police, not by the army. So it was necessary for you, because you became aware through WhatsApp, and sometimes you participated in the WhatsApp, and for you to say that's not the way the operations should be undertaken. That was your duty.
oui, mon comprend. Et la situation y était.
Yes, I understand. Sometimes
Mon
the
comprend.
situation is.
Comme commissaire en on me dit que où vient petit là de sa bande groupe en
As you say in Creole, sometimes you are but a small person in that group.
But you're failing the police, you're failing the country in not being able to talk and say, this is not how the operation should run. Even the 10th Amendment doesn't give the military the power. I mean, it gives them power to assist the police in whatever investigation.
C'est mon commissaire mon cousin quantité moi.
And yes, Commissioner, I have spoken a lot.
Because I can tell you honestly, from the WhatsApp messages I've got, I don't find you being forceful and explaining that this is not. Actually, you were basically agreeing with what was being done.
Moi c'est donner scénario un petit coup.
Let me try to play out the scenario.
Beaucoup ça même quelque chose qui a été discuté dans les State House.
A lot of these things have been discussed up there at State House.
Et beaucoup les temps, il y en a certains quelque chose qui m'ont pas agree avec. Disons, m'ont dit pas faire comme ça la police, pas faire comme ça.
Many times there are certain things that I did not agree upon, whereby I would say not to do it like this. The police does not function like that.
Mais pas nécessairement qui gagne écouter, il gagne exécuter souvent une fois. Il arrive les cas quand nous perdons case.
It's not necessary that they would listen to me sometimes, and sometimes we have even lost cases.
Exactly. When you find that you are losing cases before court, you should regroup and tell those who are concerned, investigating officers and all that, and those who are doing the operation, that the operation should not be done in a certain manner. Because as the Commissioner of Police, you are there to maintain law and order in the country and to fight criminality. If you're not doing that, you are failing in your duties.
Oui, mon commissaire me comprend bien.
I understand you well, Commissioner.
Souvent une fois il massacre avec un peu de mining aussi.
Most of the time there are some undermining.
Mr. Babi.
Okay, sorry. I'm a little bit worried about the way this conversation is happening. It's sort of abstract. Like it's, what we want you to give us is, so if you, for example, if you say to us, as you have said, tried to indicate, if you say to us, you gave your views and your views were overruled. We want you to give us examples and say, for example, there is this operation which was conducted without my knowledge. I complained or I raised my concerns and they were overruled. Because you can't just say, no, sometimes because we are speaking in general terms. So that doesn't help us much. So can we do this?
With due respect.
Yeah.
Si moi dans sa bande détail, lesquelles l'opération. Oui.
With due respect, if I go into the details of such and such operations, it might be.
Mais c'est moi, oui, risqué. Mais
It's
c'est moi
risky.
capable d'accuser peut-être encore on.
Because there are certain of those operations that are still ongoing.
I mean, question encore on. But
Then you
Kopona.
can say to us that part of information, because it relates to something that is ongoing or something that might jeopardize criminal justice, then we go into a private hearing about that. But my concern
I
is,
understand you.
sorry, can I finish? My concern is, I think, can you try to, whenever you make an allegation or whenever you claim something, you have to go beyond just claiming, right? What I am not saying disclose every other information, including which might not be in the interest of the national security to do so. But if you are going to say it was difficult for me to do my job, like what you say, tell us why it was difficult for you to do your job, so that we don't just leave it there.
Okay.
So I think you mentioned, let's go back to where you mentioned that there were operations that were done without your knowledge. Some you acknowledged that you knew, right? Mm-hmm. Then you gave us scenarios where, and you see, this is the practical information that I'm talking about. You said, for example, sometimes you would only find out from complaints that are filed at the police internal unit, right, alleging harassment of civilians. And that's how you would know that there was such an operation that was conducted. Right. So now, can I ask you how you dealt with those complaints?
Seven commissioners in vraiment difficile pour moi internal affairs travailler avec.
It was very difficult for the people at internal affairs to work with.
Surtout Banco n'a pas police presence.
Especially those where there were no police officers present.
À cause de masques.
Because they were wearing masks.
So, il peut dire ban case closed, they are not closed cases.
That does not mean that these cases has been closed.
Mais côté internal affairs, they are struggling with them.
But at the internal affairs over there, they are struggling with those cases.
So they could not identify the
who did this, who did that, because of the mask and.
Okay, so now you as police commissioner, they would inform you that they are unable to process these complaints because they can't identify who did this. But there must be someone somewhere in the PSU or in the special ops who knows, right? Did you take up those issues with that person to find out who was deployed and who could have been part of this group of people with masks?
Y en a un en particulier qui internal affairs she call Captain Bristol.
There is one in particular that the internal affairs called Captain Bristol.
Mais après Captain Bristol she call and my senior officers.
But afterwards Captain Bristol called one of my senior officers.
Et she dit ça l'enquête.
And tell him to hold with these investigations. I was not aware. I thought that the case was ongoing.
But your officer that was ordered to hold the case, he certainly responds to you.
Yes.
He never came to you to tell you
Not at
that
all.
this is what he was told?
Not at all. Et ban dernière minute, ban dernier temps, qui m'ont dit wrap up sa ban case.
Last period, I said to wrap up those cases.
Là qui m'ont connaît.
That's when I was
Qui m'ont
made
demandé
aware
de status sa ban case à cause encore comme ça l'autre.
about the status of these cases. Why are such and such cases the way it was?
So did you take action with this officer, with this police officer, for not carrying out his job?
Non, je ne prends pas action avec lui, moi c'est moi qui informe moi si dit rapport tout ça ban caisse avec mon député.
No, I did
Moi
not
si fait
take
mon
action
député
with
comme ça
him,
ban caisse.
but I said to them to report all of those cases to my deputy for my deputy to handle.
That would be Sankor.
Yes.
How, do you remember how the we just want to get the scale of the number of
What's it?
complaints?
Mon garanti y en a plus. Mais c'est moi, il y en a 12 à 13 saban caisse qui mon connaît mon voit bon rapport.
I guarantee you that there are more, but from what I was aware, that there are 12 to 13 of those cases.
Mais pareil nous pour comprendre plus il y en a 10 monde pas plus en main. C'est pas rapporté. Il y en a 10 monde pas rapporté.
We
Ils ont devraient
understand
rapporter.
it. Certain individuals would never go and report.
And how many cases are you aware of where the investigations were interfered with by someone from Special Ops or a new Bristol?
On n'a pas ça numbers là. Quantité caisse.
Have those numbers with me now.
Mais mon capable dit encore une fois pas dans le détail. Mais c'est moi il y en a un caisse en particulier qui m'ont rappelé, m'ont dit comme si pas engagé.
Once again, I cannot provide the details, but I remember there's one case in particular whereby I stated to them not to engage.
Pas besoin d'engager, m'ont dit pas engagé, mais après le lendemain pour matin, qui m'ont comprend pour dire les autres engage.
And then the next morning, that's when I was made aware that they had engaged.
Et on va pas donner encore une fois, on va pas aller en détail à cause il peut trop peut montrer.
And once again, I cannot provide the
L'évidence est
details.
détruite.
But
L'évidence est détruite.
the evidence was destroyed.
Un bon quelque chose qui nous sert comment l'évidence est tampered with.
One of the things that we were to use as evidence was tampered with.
Simplement à cause the way la police travaille, encore une fois. La police
Simply
train.
because the way the police works, the way they are trained,
Ou capable voir nous peut drag ou ça veut dire la police peut drag loin caisse.
you can see or say that the police are dragging with a case.
It's not like that. À cause ça qui l'évidence pour il y a encore l'information pour nous.
Because what is evidence to you is our information to us.
Et au besoin à cause nous avons une façon de travail, ou soit nous avons plusieurs façons de travail.
Because we have one or several ways of working.
Les nous pouvons faire certains travail qui concerne narcotiques, nous avons des spécificités qui nous travaillons là.
When we are going to conduct an operation on narcotics or work on narcotics, there are specific ways or things that we work on.
Encore une fois, je ne vais pas parler en détail à cause this is travail, bons outils.
Once again, I cannot go into the details of it because this is our way of working.
Mais les gens qui disent qui en entêté, c'est bon, ils still envie à engager quand pas les engager, then il vient un problème.
But when you have individuals, people that are stubborn and still wants to go and engage when given the instruction not to engage, that becomes a problem.
Mon déjà gagné un call sorti pour le président avant.
I had once received a call from the president, the former president.
Côte il fait mon comprend pour dire les mon officier de la police il fait la fouille. Fait le team connaît.
He made me understand that when the police officers went to go and do any search for drugs, that I should inform the team.
Il dépend qui l'en plaît, qui qualité la fouille ou peut le faire.
That would depend on the extent or how big of a search you are going to be conducting.
À cause il y en a trop beaucoup de monde aussi.
Because
Sur le voie de plaie, c'est l'obéissance aussi, pas mal, c'est souvent une fois.
when there are too many people on an operation, they are all over the place, and sometimes disobedience happens as well.
I mean, I've got one or two little questions pertaining to what you just said. Now, when you were called by the president to tell you that you've got to call the group to come with your police officers when you are going to do your operation or your search or whatever it is. Did he give you the reason why you wanted those people to be there?
Mon connaît pour dire ça groupe y en a dit mon qui dit pour dire la police n'a fait l'opération pas faire autres connaît.
I know that the group has an individual that informed them that the police had went on an operation and did not inform them.
Il pas dit mon pour quelle raison mais seulement bon il a envie l'intégration ça ban du monde.
He did not say for what reason, but he wanted the integration of those individuals.
Yeah, but now when you had your meetings every Monday mornings and whatever, did you tell him? Did you ask him? Why? Did you? In fact, what I'm saying, did you voice your concerns that would rise concerns for the operations that you were carrying out? Did you tell him? Did you tell them?
Dans lundi bon matin, nous pas mais allo ça ban dimension avec lui, ban sa distance avec lui.
On the Monday mornings, I never went to that length with
oui,
him.
non plutôt cause ban les autres ban Karim ou ban les autres incidents qui m'ont habitué à rapporter le bon matin.
We more or less talked about other things, incident crimes that I reported every morning.
But that was a time when an opportunity as well, when you should have voiced out these concerns that you have to the president.
Moi, j'ai déjà voicé certains conseils avec lui, mais par exemple, on a sa team qui en l'air State House.
I recall voicing out certain concerns with him, but as you know, the team was a team that was based at State House.
Pas nécessairement tout le temps qu'on capable de dire n'importe quoi.
It is not necessary that every now and then you would be able to say anything you would want.
Mr. Ravi, I want to ask you, yeah? You said there were 12 or 13 cases
Oui,
that came from the internal affairs to you, and then finally nothing could be done. On one occasion you said that always in the group there was one police officer who was unmasked.
pas tout le temps, qui n'en a.
It's not always.
Mais seulement, oui.
But did he or she, that person, in some of the operations could identify who those people were?
Possibilité pas pour qu'on ait, à cause, c'est pour sa raison, moi dit, training est important. Là, on peut faire ça, on peut faire l'opération, on peut besoin certains procédures qu'on peut suivre.
There is a possibility that they would not know because, like I stated, that's why training is very important. When going to conduct a search, there are certain procedures that you need to follow.
Moi aussi, les gens qui peuvent grandir dans la police, ou réaliser pour dire on fait un search warrant, ou réaliser pour dire les ou quoi pour dire we searching one room at a time. Il y en a un là-bas, il y en a l'autre ici, il y en a l'autre là-bas.
And I myself, while I was growing up in the police force, conducting a search warrant, you would realize that while you are searching a particular room, somebody else could have gone in another direction and somebody else in another.
Mais seulement, par exemple, on peut dire, ça va une caisse, pas une caisse fermée. Mon rappel, mon dit, tout ça, ban garde qui a tassé, on en a parlé aussi, ban garde qui a tassé, et qui ça, vous avez besoin d'une version at least, vous avez besoin de dire qui exode dans sa search, etc., etc.
And to remember, like I stated, these are not closed cases. I remember saying to go and seek out these officers because we have Nepali officers as well, so that maybe some of them would give out their versions of the event.
So can those cases be traced today?
Il y a encore internal affairs. It's still at internal affairs. Il y a une bonne information. Pour besoin de build up the case, rebuild up cases.
Still at the internal affairs, and there are certain information cases that they would need more to be able to rebuild it up.
Okay. Until now, I've got a last question. I want to go straight to the point. Yeah. You said that in the meetings you voiced out so many concerns that you had, or ways of doing things, and in a lot of cases, your inputs were disregarded, or you were prevented from bringing in your inputs in order to alleviate the operations that were going to be carried out. Yes, you said this, yes? Okay. Now, there was about 4 or 5 people inside there. Who were those people that did not listen to you as a police officer, well trained, running the Seychelles police, and did not want to listen to you, who knows the law and regulations of running such operations? Who were those people?
Par exemple, si mon donne détail qui m'a si mon donne détail m'a dit dans tel case, nous peut travailler là.
For example, if I give details about a certain case or such case that we are working on,
Il vient de l'intérêt président.
it becomes in the interest of the president.
Et once, non, il peut participer.
Il will participate.
Il peut participer, et ça y escalate à bonnes affaires.
And these things escalate.
Il escalate jusqu'à finalement, the police way of doing it, il évaporé.
Yeah, but
Until
who-
finally the police way of doing things sort of
Who
evaporates.
would prevent it to be done correctly? Who was the person or the persons that prevented the operation to be carried out correctly?
Mais un bon pays involve par CDF, pas pour tout là-dedans.
A lot are involved. CDF would not be really in.
Mais ou pour gagner président, VP, Ivan, Benedis, ou pour gagner ça t'a bon faire ça, ça t'a bon faire ça.
But you would
Mais
have those people like the president, Benedis, the VP, saying this is not should not be done like this. It should rather be done like that.
autres capables participent si disons il y a si encore plus mauvais. Si dollar mais plus mauvais.
If it's at sea, then it's even
À cause
worse.
tout le monde il est dans nous coordonner, tout le monde il est dans ici, tout le monde il est calcul.
Everyone.
Par contre si mon pays
Wants to give
Si
out
on peut-
coordinates. Everyone wants to
No,
participate.
I
and give out
understand what you're
ideas.
talking about. At sea, I would understand that it would be the Navy dealing with such situation. Yeah? On land, I believe that you, as the Commissioner of Police, you are more versed than anybody else sitting inside the room to give your disposition on what should be done. And everybody should listen, ask questions, and let you get on with it. Yeah? Exactly like army. If I'm coming with an operation, I am the commander going to run this operation, everybody should be listening to me. Unless I've got another army officer higher than me who is sitting there who knows better than me.
mais parfois oui mon comprend commissionnaire, mais parfois
Yes.
ou t'en un parmi c'est tout président il peut dire il peut dire quelque chose il est capable d'arriver ou quelqu'un diverted.
Yes, I
So-
understand you, Commissioner, but sometimes one amongst these individuals, for example, the president, would either divert what you are saying.
So you would confirm that on different occasions your views were not accepted by the president.
Oui parfois oui.
Yes,
En plus.
sometimes.
And this caused a lot of problems for you who were trying to implement the law.
Il vient une difficulté pour moi, il vient une difficulté pour ça pour mon bon homme qui m'ont rapporté les autres.
It becomes a difficulty for me and for my men, which I report to them.
À cause on peut faire on peut tirer un petit peu l'autre track. Comme ça on peut discuter mais ou perdu ou style perdu.
Because
On
you
peut
are,
discuter certain quelque chose et maman il peut faire certain quelque chose. Ou pas gagner le maximum.
you sway a bit on the track, and because you are discussing and they are doing something else, and you do not get the maximum of things.
So carry on from where you left off, you were telling us, and then we asked you questions. Anything else that you want to discuss?
Ok, mwen pou koze un ti peu la police même. Nous avons un problème avec nos bandes moteurs.
I will speak about the police. We had certain issues with our motorcycles.
Et nous avons un qui bon.
We had one good working
Un parmi qui
motorcycle.
est comme qui est 100%. Le président fait mettre sa moteur en les State House
The president had me send that motorcycle at State House.
pour ban déplacement. Et en les State House, il y a un sub-inspector from the police. Il pas nécessairement directly in the special team, mais c'est maintenant les.
And over there at State House, there was a sub-inspector who was not necessarily directly in the team, but was based up there.
Mali pour ride sa ban moteur.
He
Sa moteur.
said that he would be the one to ride that motorcycle.
Mon peut dire un peu avec certaines femmes là qui m'ont là.
I am
Ah,
still
pour-
about the 10th Amendment.
Après, finally, nous avons des trois moteurs qui font escort, c'est tout National Day. Gros moteur là.
And we had a couple, 2 or 3 of those big motorcycles that we do escort for the National Day
Bill.
ceremony.
Mais là, moi, tu fais un moteur monter. Et l'autre, mon gars, on fait monter, finally.
So I received the order to send out the motorcycle, and I did.
Of course, mon ban garde pas content.
Of course, my police officers were unhappy.
Et sometimes along the way, mon gars un rapport qui ça ban moteur peut servi par militaire.
Sometimes later along the way, I had received reports that these motorcycles were being used by military personnel.
À cause de mon petit peu rapport de ça. De nous aussi, il y a un commissioner prison de nous. Il y a aussi.
Why were people reporting that?
Because-
And Commissioner Denus also was reported of the same.
Because it's not the police riding them. Pas garde qui peut monter. You see?
You said it in English.
Oh, you spoke in English, so that's why you
Sorry. Sorry. Ça, il y a quelque chose qui montre pour dire ça grippe la police si vraiment en trop qui ça 10th Amendment qui peut amener.
These are certain things that showed you how the grip was on the police, how the grip of the 10th Amendment, the impact that it was having on the police department.
Nous avons 10 M4 rifles, I think 10, si mon memory serve moi bien. M4 rifles. Ça aussi, mon petit gars, il demande. Quand il m'a dit avec pour moi, pas donner, nous besoin, whatever, américain qui donne. Ça aussi, tu fais monter mon State House.
With regards to the 10 and 4 rifles that I'm referring to, that also, even if I tried holding on to it, I was asked to send it to State House.
Qu'est-ce qu'on peut essayer de dire? C'est ça, bande dommage qui. Sorry, sir?
Who asked you?
President.
President.
The president. Yes, previous president. So, depleting the police of Wakwa to quelque chose.
Almost
Et mon ban
everything.
zone côté support services about en colère.
And my men at the support services were angry.
Son tanen de vini di mon apesot ici, mon apesot là-bas, c'est à cause de la pression qui gagne exerce le moins.
If you heard a few of them saying that I prevented them from doing this and that was because of the pressure that was being exerted on me.
If I may pose you this question, I know there are other things that commissioners will be asking, or you've got other things to say, but if I may ask you at this point, do you feel you were given complete autonomy, or you were given the free hand to run your service, run the Seychelles Police according to the law and training you have had?
For 100%.
Not to 100%.
Since we are talking about percentages, what percentage? You said not 100%. So it can be 99%.
No. Peut-être about 50, mais seulement to run the police efficiently. Ou besoin, peut-être dans 90% en montant pour 100 à cause la force qui parle 100%. Mais c'est mon besoin, highly, well, good percentage. Quand on a contrôle partout, quand on a resources, quand on a C pour dire mon besoin de resources et ou gagner.
Maybe above 50, but not to 100%, considering the fact that no police force can operate to 100% efficacy, but at least on a high percentage whereby you would have control everywhere and you would be able to request the things that you need.
Okay, so just so that we simplify these things, so your point that in your duties as police commissioner, you were being interfered with by the former president. I need you to answer, not to...
Yes, on peut se dire que, sorry sir, quantité, oui.
A lot, yes, a lot.
Is that what you were saying? Because if we talk about numbers, it might be difficult to...
Yeah.
Now, would you want to also... You might have alluded to some of these things before, but just so that we provide examples, or you provide examples to these things.
Examples?
Examples of why you say you were being interfered with. In what way were you being interfered with?
Oui, mais bonne décision qu'on prend souvent fois, pas nécessairement qui agree avec.
Decisions that you take sometimes you would not necessarily agree with them.
Okay, like what? What major decision do you think was your decision to make, free of interference, but then you were interfered with?
Oui, c'est tout. Par exemple, on besoin rapport contre lui.
For example, I needed to report to him.
Mon pour monter avec mon direction qui m'a envie la force aller.
I would go to him with my direction, with providing my direction the way I want the force to be directed to go.
So I don't think I understood that. But for example,
he would go to the president and then he would state the way he wants the force to be directed.
He's got plans as to how.
So
yes.
Operational.
Yes, my plan, structure and everything.
Okay.
I want to move Ted Barbie from this unit to the other unit.
Okay. So
he would intervene definitely. Il peut intervenir. Un peu pour l'espace, mais il y en a les temps qui pour.
Certain things he would let it go by, but there are times where he would, like I stated, intervene.
But obviously, being the president, you would have expected that he would at least voice out views on certain matters. Because you cannot just go to him and say, "This is the plans that I've got," and he has to look at the plans to appreciate whether there could be things that could be ameliorated or.
Someone d'accord, il fait ça. Il y a quelque chose
Yes, I agree, and that was done by him.
C'est maintenant quelque chose qui le ground ou qui voit qui à cause peut faire ça move et etc.
There are things that you are the person on the ground, you see that thing, you know that thing better, and when you would present that to him,
he would just say no, and that's the end of it.
Finish.
Mr. Bave, but the president came here and he vowed that he never took part in any operational matters or issues when he was in office. He was only the person responsible for policy, making and administering policies to the police and whatever. And I wanted to just say something about this. And secondly, he mentioned here that during his 5 years as the president, he felt so much, I don't know what word to use, but he found that the police force was really chaotic organization? Because I think you heard him. He said it here. And what are your views of this?
Dans l'opération, premièrement, l'opération, il involve une quantité dans l'opération.
Firstly, he was involved a lot in the
Il
operation.
m'a dit auparavant, il discute devant le State House.
Like I said before, and that was being discussed at State House in front of him.
Oui, surtout s'il y a une opération un petit peu majeure.
Especially if it's a major operation.
Moi, personnellement, en comparaison, mon pas pour entrer dans l'opération, mon ban travailler narcotique, moi.
Me personally, for example, I would not interfere in the operations of my officers with regards to anti-narcotics
À cause mon compte potentiel en bandes officiers.
because I know the potential of my officers.
Only if they come to me, then I will join in, probably with the deputy and the ACPs as well, as appropriate if they want the team. C'est ça. Oui, non, fini. Oui. Mais les où peut run la force, on peut le dire un boutique commissionnaire dit, les où peut run la force.
Going on
Yeah.
the second point, when you are running a force,
Dans la réalité, il y a une résistance.
in reality
Bonnes
there are
officiers.
resistance from certain
La
officers.
commissionnaire compte bien, commissionnaire de l'armée compte bien, moi il m'a assez. Il y a une bonne résistance, pas tout quelque chose qui ou dit qui ou bonnes officiers pour accepter.
There are resistant. Commissioner knows it well. He was in the army. There are certain officers whereby certain things that you would say, you would get resistance from them.
Et là, on a besoin de rapporter quelque chose, un directive qui président donne. Pardon, qui a besoin de rapporter, donner feedback.
And then if the president has given a directive whereby you have to report to him with a feedback,
Et si pas de gain fait,
and if
of
it has
course, on
not
peut dire,
done,
on peut rapporter. Mais ça, il y a quelque chose qui moi avec lui, whoever il a, nous rapporter, mais pas quelque chose pour le dramatiser. Il est dans l'autre manière.
and these are things that whomever is with him when I am reporting that would be there, not to sort of dramatize the situation in a way.
Comme si pour le commissionnaire indien, pour lui vendre sa thème qui t'y servi, etc. T'y servi un thème là dedans.
Like the commissioner said, for him to not
No,
to come and say
who-
the term that he used while he was there.
Comme si la force est chaotique, n'a pas. Vous
That
connaissez?
the force was chaotic and there's no, you know,
La force, il y a son problème par n'importe qui, l'organisation, par n'importe qui ministère. La police, il y a son
force.
problème. Lui.
the police force has its issues like every organization, every minister.
Nous avons des issues, nous avons manpower, nous avons transport, nous avons un building qui, depuis plus vieux qui moi, peut-être un fois ou whatever, un vieux
had-
building là-sous,
Transport, manpower, old buildings, some older than me.
et budget qui nous type gagner, tout ça là, et vous connaissez, il y a une frustration générale dans l'organisation, quelque chose là.
And considering
Les
the
pas gagné
budget
assez, les mamans ils n'ont pas de transport pour drive, pour aller, il y a la pied aussi.
that we were receiving when to go on scene, some officers had to go by foot on scenes and they would complain about such things.
So, il ne peut pas dire qu'il y a dans son problème, oui. Il ne peut pas dire qu'il y a chaotique, désordre, etc. Mais c'est marrant, bien que nous faisons assez, nous faisons quantité, nous réduisons le crime.
It
Nous
had
réduisons le
its
crime, les motifs là.
issues, but it did
On ne
not
pas dire
mean
pas
that it
réduire, c'est
was
nous réduisons le crime,
chaotic.
considerably.
But it was working. We were working. We reduced crime considerably,
So,
considering
mon pays répond ça.
the way it was before.
I think what he said was more that the police was more disorganized. I don't believe it was chaotic, but it was very disorganized.
In a sense, yes. But did you discuss with him all the issues that you are talking now to show him that look, we have got issues as well. And did anybody listen to you or?
Oui, bonne issue qui m'ont pas dit là, président connaît.
The issues that I am stating now, the president was aware.
Did he ever bring you fresh policies to be able to organize the police force in ways that probably he thought would be better?
Il participe dans ce qui m'ont amené. Il participe là-dedans. Bonne question qui m'ont amené. Il participe par exemple, si je parle overseas, je peux dire que je parle de ça, je parle meeting, je parle de ça, il peut go ahead, on fait comme ça, ok.
The things that I would bring to him, he would participate. And for example, if I were to inform him that I needed to go abroad to get such and such things, he would give his approval.
The bad meeting, si tout le monde assiste meeting.
Especially when I assisted meetings with him.
Yeah, why we were talking about this is because the perception that the people out there got about the police force after.
So,
I think I was just conferring. I think because this is your second time to appear here, right? I don't want us to make this
long.
not longer. No, we can go as long as is necessary. Even if we are tired, it's fine. But let's go straight to the issues,
to the point,
right? That we need to discuss, right? I think just to clarify so that also people can understand the reason why we sketch the context, talk about your relationship with your superiors. In this case, your superior was the former president, is to understand how that shaped the way you operated as the police and how that might have impacted the way you responded to Montagne Poseé prison, right? So I think we've understood your working relationship, the challenges that were there, including operational challenges. I think let's go to the prison and see how some of those things might have impacted the way you responded at the prison. But again, before we ask you specific questions, do you have anything that you remember from your testimony concerning the operation of 5 and 6 December? If you recall what you told us, do you have anything that you want to correct, to further explain? And please, when you do so, we want you to be specific, direct, because we've got questions that we want to ask you, which is why we called you.
Par exemple, ça problème communication dans prison, tient issue.
For example, the issue of communication at the prison.
You mean on the 5th and the 6th? You're talking about the 5th and the 6th?
Oui. Comme si, ok, DCP, il cause avec moi. DCP de nous, c'est une cause avec moi.
DCP spoke to me, DCP de nous.
Mais c'est pas tous les qui contactent si follow à cause du problème network là-bas dans la prison.
But since there was the issue of network over there at the prison, it was not every time that the communication would flow.
I think you told us that last time. Is there anything else that you want to correct, you want to expand? If nothing, it's fine. You can say, then we can ask you questions.
Yes.
Okay.
Maybe I will.
And do you know of any standing order from the president which was there by the 5th of December, a standing order in that if anything happens at the prison, if a riot happens at the prison, the military must come in and assist the police? Are you aware of anything like that?
Oui, the meeting, there's other meeting.
Okay, can you
Yes,
tell us?
once in a meeting.
There's other meeting. Was in a CP George or City là.
I remember But the ex-CP Georgia also was there in that meeting.
À cause d'un incident qui peut arriver, par exemple, tout inmates avec autres la clé, tout tenant la clé cadenas.
Because of the incidents that were happening, for example, all the inmates had their own key to their padlocks.
Après, il y a un contrabande aussi qui peut allégation contrabande peut entrer.
And then allegations of contraband coming in the prison.
Et aussi un de la fouille qui garde une fait qui sorti avec bon outils qui gagne fait.
And certain search that were conducted and whereby they came out with weapons that were used, that they formed themselves in prison.
Oui, il dit prononcer que, par exemple, nous, à cause de nous, la police avec militaire, nous peux imaginer pour nous assister prison et étudier, nous assister prison.
Because the police and the military were thinking, we were thinking to assist the prison, and he told us to assist.
Oui, tu dis nous assister, CP connaît les CP ex-CP
CP knew about it, the previous CP.
Nous avons besoin de retrieve ça la clé qui prisonnier y en a mais garde n'a pas, garde prisonnier n'a pas.
We had to retrieve those keys that the prisoners had, which the officers had none.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, with that information you have given us, it means that in government, at a senior level, there was suspicion that there's a possibility of a riot or a possibility of some disturbance at the prison. Is that correct?
Yes, sir. We, Commissioner.
And so, apart from having a standing arrangement that says, in the event of a prison escape or, an attempt to escape, in the event of a riot, the military must come in and assist the police. Apart from that, what else were contingent plans that you made? If at all there were any plans?
Imagine ça que mon dit, ça fait bon contraband, riot, oui, s'il y a un riot.
I recall the things that I said about the riot and contraband, yes. Saki,
so when I say contingent plan, so let me just yeah, please.
Saki, IPG, ce qui paraît, ça meeting tinga discuter qui dans l'éventualité qui arrive un incident, sa façon qu'ils ont pour contenir ça l'incident, c'est à travers l'assistance de la police militaire.
Oui.
Par exemple, il peut demander à part de ça si tu n'as aucune des autres alternatives comme si tu peux arriver un incident qu'ils ont pour faire. Si tu ne discutes aucune des autres alternatives à part qu'ils signent.
Non, mais nous, tu peux discuter ensemble avec Major General de l'armée. Nous, tu peux discuter pour nous faire un plan pour le code prison, pour délibérer, ça va quelque chose.
No, we were discussing together with Major General to have a plan whereby we would go and collect these the keys from the prison.
Tu même request plan prison.
We even requested the plan
Poseé.
of the prison for that.
What else?
Quoi, c'est ça?
I think that was it.
Mais seulement nous pouvons aussi gagner, par exemple, gagner l'information avec SIS, M. Wao.
But we were also getting certain information from SIS, from Mr. Wao.
Okay. Did you get the prison layout plan?
The prison layout plan. I've seen it on des avoirs, mon voir.
No, the question, so
yes,
the question
yes,
is not whether you have
yes.
seen it or not. But
Yes, mon voir.
because you are saying part of the response plan was these measures.
Yes.
So I'm asking you, you went on to implement the plan, right? So did you see the prison layout? Did
Yes,
you get it?
Mon voir, oui.
I've seen it, yes.
You got it.
Oui, yes, mon voir, yes.
Okay. What else? Just
The prison plan was...
No, I don't want to. My
okay.
question is not
What
what
else?
is the
No.
prison layout plan. I guess the discomfort I'm having, let me explain it for you, is you are saying you, at some point before the disturbances took place, when you were sitting in a security brief meeting at the highest level, there was a briefing, of course, to the president. That's what you are saying, right? That there is a possibility of a riot, there's a possibility of prisoners who might escape from prison. That's something serious.
Yes.
Right? And then you say to us, as a way of preparing or dealing with that possibility, one instruction was from the president, the military should be ready to assist the police. What else? And I'm not saying what else did the president say. I'm saying what else did you, as the head of the police, of course, we have asked the same question to others. What else? Because there ought to be a comprehensive plan, isn't it?
Yes, definitely, sir.
So it can't just be a plan about prison layout and then what else? So maybe you can say number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4, number 5, so that we get an idea of whether at all there was a plan to address this threat that you detected way before 5 December.
We prison layout type 1 and
Prison layout was one.
l'information, l'intelligence,
Intelligence information was another.
ça aussi, and continuous discussion avec commissioner of prison, ça aussi.
Continuous discussion with the CP of prison.
Et aussi, par exemple, code de la police, qui n'a pas encore arrivé, mais ça aussi été en plan, c'est pour préparer les officiers qui pour aller faire l'opération.
And also at the police level, it had not yet been done, but it was in our plan to train the officers for the operations.
Okay, so now let's talk about the intelligence. I know you were not in charge of intelligence. You were in charge of the police, but the intelligence services give intelligence to the police and to others. Are you aware of any intelligence that you were provided?
L'intelligence qui nous gagne regarding prison, il gagne discuter. On est un homme qui gagne l'information in person avec nous.
Intelligence, as and when that we received the information, we discussed about it.
Yeah, that's what I am asking. What intelligence were you given? Okay, I can ask for example,
yes.
so that you get an idea of what. Were you told about? Were you ever told about how the prisoners were planning to riot or to escape, and who was making that plan, if at all there was a plan like that? So who? So that's the kind of intelligence or information I'm asking.
Pour moi, c'est en général, c'est moi appelle pour drogue, and des pour drogue qui n'ont pas de contraband.
I don't recall in general, but I remember receiving certain information about contraband drugs.
Okay.
À cause après, bonne information pas forthcoming, connais.
And then the information received was not forthcoming.
Pas forthcoming.
So okay. Before we conclude that the information was not forthcoming, or before we accept that the information was not forthcoming, this question is coming from this background. There are witnesses who say this operation at Montagne Poseé on 5 December was badly managed. That's what they say. And part of the reason why it was badly managed is because there was poor preparation for it. Right? So that's why, number one, I'm asking whether you as the head of the police, working together with the head of prisons at the time, and whether you developed a solid plan to address this. So you answered me in part and said these are some of the things that we planned to do. Some you did, some you had not done.
Yes.
Now, intelligence was part of the plan to say we have to intensify gathering intelligence so that we know how to respond. Now, some witnesses are saying we didn't have basic intelligence, including what kind of weapons the inmates are carrying, so that we know whether we must carry, what kind of weapons should the security forces carry also.
Yes.
So how do you respond to that?
Commissioner, ça ban rapport là. Pas détaillé ban rapport parce qu'il pas vinn ça ta détail là.
These reports are not detailed.
Okay. So there was no detailed intelligence.
Pas détaillé.
We have also been informed by some of the witnesses that on the day of the disturbances, on 5 December, the police were not provided for with the prison layout plan. Were you told that in your briefing after the? We know you were not at Montagne, Poseé,
yes.
But as the chief of police, you met with your deputy to debrief what had happened there. Did he tell you that they asked for a prison layout and they were not given?
No.
He did not.
But Jeanette, I'm sorry, Commissioner of Prison that time, he checked out. She was with them in the. They could have. I know nobody asked me, but at least to the commissioner they should have asked for the plan.
Is your answer? I'm interested in your answer.
Yeah.
Not what should have happened. So is your answer to my question that no, Deputy Sangwa never told you that one of the challenges he and the police experienced there is that there was no prison layout?
After in the debriefing,
Right.
yes.
Did he tell you?
Yes.
that?
Yes, I think he told yes.
So
Yeah,
when he, no, not I think. Did he tell you or not?
yeah, but there's a lot of issues we talked about. He told me.
I think this is a major issue. Okay, so if he told you, what was your reaction to that? Or how did you deal with that issue?
No, but
No, I'm not. By the way, I'm not asking whether it made sense or not. No, I'm just saying.
no.
When he told you that, Chief, one of the problems that affected our ability to plan properly is that we didn't have a prison layout plan. How did you respond to that?
Yes, we all. I mean, the plan CP forwarded on the phone.
Yes.
Was, yes.
I'm
Yes,
asking you this
I'm
question
going,
because
yes.
you knew the plan was
Yes.
there. You had it as part of your response plan, but your deputy is telling you that on the day it was not there. So how did you deal with that?
Well,
Did you speak to the Commissioner of Prisons at the time and find out why the plan was
no,
not there?
no, I did not.
Why didn't you do that? Okay, that's fine. So we established. The other issue about intelligence is that because they, well, I'm just saying what some of the witnesses are saying, and you can picture which one amongst those that have appeared publicly. They have also said because, so they were asked, we asked them because we were wondering, okay, so assuming that they are individuals who were planning a prison escape or individuals who were planning a riot for whatever reason, and you had some credible information, why did you not identify those individuals and take preventative measures? Right? And their answer is, we did not know who those people are. So we just, so the impression created then before us is, so you expected that you anticipate, or you detected from intelligence that there's a prison escape being planned, there's a riot being planned, but then you don't know who is planning it. You see why I'm asking this question? Now, the other part is, do you know how it was going to, how it was, like how did they plan to escape from prison? Or how did they plan to do the riot? What were the activities that were going to be involved? Did you know that?
No.
Okay. So, would we be correct to say there was no intelligence?
I said something. Sometimes you get the...
No, it's a yes or no. Sorry. Because I don't want to make assumptions that are...
Yeah, no intelligence.
Are we correct?
Yes.
To have an impression that there was no intelligence?
Yes.
Okay. Was there a rumor that there might be a prison escape? A rumor that there might be a riot?
Rumor about riot.
A rumor,
Yes.
not intelligence. Rumor,
Yeah,
just gossip.
If it's the way it is, it's like there's no details, there's no nothing, there's no concrete evidence.
Yeah.
So it's
And by the way,
escaping prisoners every now and then.
and by the way, this has not. What I'm saying, I'm putting across some versions to see how you respond. Right? This is not me. These are versions from different witnesses, right? So as long as you understand that, so you don't have to agree with those versions because they are competing versions. And by the way, this is not to say there was no contraband coming into the prison. The issue of contraband coming into the prison and the allegation that prisoners are planning to escape from prison are two different things. So what I think you have spoken to and others have spoken to is some kind of evidence to prove that there was contraband. But what we are still looking for, and we're hoping you can help us, is evidence that there was planning there were prisoners planning to escape from prison or planning to riot. And can you think of anything that can...
Like, for example, escape, there's no... You just receive the call that an inmate has escaped from prison. Riot...
Can I have that document? Prison layout.
When you got to go deep into the information you receive and until it gets concrete. It's got a layout. And
so we agree with you. So now you as the chief of police, did you ask these questions to your, well, maybe she's not your counterpart, to the commissioner of prisons and to the director of state intelligence? I mean, and say, when you say there's a riot, and when you say there's a plan to escape from prison, but you are not giving me as the chief of police details, how do you expect my police force or my police members to respond to this in the event that it happens? Did you raise those questions?
Commissioner, and I believe the Major General as well, we waited for the information to come in. I mean, more detailed information to come in, because he was the one on it. So probably he had informant in the prison, so he was the one to to bring in those information. So we waited, but then nothing else, no detail of anything came up.
I think you have addressed us on that. We didn't want to let you go without us benefiting from your perspective on the quality of intelligence that you had. Do you know this? Do you know that document? That take your time to look at it, and then you can, if you can remember it in any way.
I've been on site, but never been in.
No, but do you remember the document? That's the first question.
Yeah. I don't have my glasses, but I can.
You remember it?
I can see, yes.
Okay. If you remember it, I just wanted to ask you this question. Where do you remember it from? Was that document ever shared with you?
Not too sure.
Okay. So where do you remember it from? Because you said you remember. No, you can hold on to it. It's fine. You said you remember it. You said, yes, I remember it.
I've
then
seen.
I said, was it ever shared with you?
I've seen something similar.
You looked at all the
Hold.
documents?
I think you do remember it, but maybe you are trying to speculate second guess my question.
No.
Because you said I remember it, but then when I said, was it ever shared with you, you said no. Okay. The reason why I'm asking that document is supposedly it's a prison layout, right? Which was shared. In preparation for the possibility of a riot.
I think it was that Jeanette herself drew.
You see, that's the problem.
Yeah.
You're answering the questions that have not been asked. You haven't answered my question. You answered the first one.
Yeah.
Do you remember that? Yes.
Yes.
Second question, was that document ever shared with you?
Yes.
It was shared.
I remember
Okay,
this.
now let's now talk about the document, right? And the first issue that I want to ask you is, who shared that document with you? Where did it come from?
Jeanette,
The Commissioner of
Commissioner of
Prisons
Prison.
at that time.
Yes.
Okay. What do you notice on the first page of that? Okay, I think the first page is the one
That's
that
the
is.
one. This one.
Yeah. What do you notice on that? Or maybe let's, in the interest of time, I think we can be direct. So on that document, right, it shows prison cells.
Yes.
Then it shows where specific inmates, some of this, not all, some of the specific inmates
Yeah.
live.
Yeah.
Who are their names?
I'm trying hard because I
No, just read what is there.
Fabio,
Uh-huh.
Alice,
Uh-huh.
Dario, and 3 inmates police.
Okay, so that then is not just a prison layout. Huh? It's a layout plus an indication of who stays where or who lives where amongst the inmates, right? Now let's go back to my question, which I asked you earlier on. Sorry. Don't. Let's move together.
Okay.
Let's move together. You can then share your responses at whatever time, right? But let's work together.
I'm eager to say something because I don't remember the names.
You want?
I don't remember the names.
Okay.
You remember the names of?
The names there on the plan.
So those names, right, are names of inmates who actually existed at least by the time that the riot happened, right? So my question is, and I hope I don't want you to we're finished about the document. I want us to talk now. So if what was provided had some names, and that's not the only page that has names. There's another page that has similar names. So if the plan that was provided was shared, and I'm not saying it was shared between the two of you, but if that plan was shared and it had names on it, right, then you cannot say you did not have people in mind whom you thought, whether correctly or wrongly, we don't know, but whom you thought were planning a prison escape or prison riot. So there must have been names discussed. I'm not saying in the security briefing meeting, but in your discussion around how to respond to this, you didn't discuss names.
No, what names we discussed were to do with narcotics.
Okay, you didn't discuss names about people planning a riot or
No.
people planning a...
The riot was not
Okay.
detailed.
Now, I want you to have an opportunity to respond on behalf of the institution that you were leading at that time.
Yes, sir.
Right? So, again, when I put these things to you, I'm not saying these are my views. These are views of other witnesses.
understand.
So, there is a view that says the riot, the response from the police and the military on the 5th of December, the response was targeting specific individuals. Which, by the way, may not necessarily be a problem if what you are trying to do is to prevent those individuals from starting a riot, as long as you have evidence.
Why would you go to attend to a riot incident with names? We don't know who's doing. There were hardly any information about who's doing who.
So I will ask this
So,
question differently.
why would
former commissioner?
this would be a problem for me to allow? Why- They would go, yes, but why the names?
Okay, you are supposed to be answering the questions, not us. So I will ask that question differently. So when you sat in a briefing with your deputy at the time, Deputy Sangwa, did he in any way indicate to you, or any of your police officers indicate to you, that before the operation started at Montagne Poseé, there was a list of people who were targeted? Nobody?
No.
Okay. Nobody informed you that? Okay. The next question that we wanted to also benefit from you is about the operations themselves. We understand from your first testimony now that you were not there physically, but you maintained contact. And of course, you said there were network problems. But surely, after the disturbances, the riot, you had a briefing with your deputy and your other officers, right? Did they brief you on how they organized themselves to respond to or to address the disturbances?
Not necessarily in sequence, because They told me about the difficulties, about what they were being thrown, where they were thrown at them. A little bit of what happened.
But did they also tell you about the team or teams that they dispatched into the prison? That there were teams that they dispatched into the prison?
Yes, yes, I know of Vincent Marie, ASP Marie and a group.
No. What the question? So yes, you knew that there were teams.
Yes, teams.
Who were the leaders of those teams? Okay, how many teams were there? Number one.
They had the city, the counter-terrorism group, and then there was the POTRU,
Okay.
and then some officers from Asuka police station as well.
Okay, I hear
and
that.
Yeah,
And did they tell you that they dispatched one team, was including everyone, into the prison? They told you that, right?
yes.
And who was the leader of that team? Who was the commander of that team?
SP Dakambra.
It was Superintendent
I think
Dakambra.
SP Dakambra, yes.
Okay. And did you speak to SP Dakambra to confirm that at any point?
No, but in the meeting, he was
there.
at one point, he was in the meeting, yes.
Okay. Did you establish whether... Okay, maybe I shouldn't ask this question. It's okay. I will not ask that one. Okay.
But were you informed that your deputy, Mr. Songkwa, was coordinating all the
Yes.
operation?
Yes.
And were you satisfied that Mr. Songkwa had the necessary training to coordinate such an operation? He can be. I'm not saying that he doesn't have any qualifications for. He could have qualifications to undertake other form of operations. But do you believe he had the necessary qualifications for that kind of operations?
Deputy is a well-seasoned police officer who could at any time adjust himself to different circumstances. And he was supported by the two ACPs, the Nusa and Weeds, and then by CSP Poseé as well, and the Commissioner of Prison was there as well. So,
Okay, but you agree that even Poseé is not somebody who's trained in riots. Poseé
is trained in forensic.
In forensics. He's very qualified in forensics. So he would not have been able to give good advice as to what to do in such a circumstance.
Depends.
I think you need to treat that question seriously, because that question
Yes.
is coming from the fact that you say we had intelligence ahead of time that there's a plan to escape from prison or plan to riot.
Not information.
Yeah, information. Yeah, but you described it as intelligence.
Even Mama said it was information.
Yes.
Information.
Yeah, information.
So, if you had that information, and then you also said the president gave a standing, the president at that time gave a standing instruction that in the event of this happening, the military must stand ready to assist the police, right? So given all this, surely you would have thought about who from the police side would lead the security, the police officers in that operation. And his question is, Deputy Sangwa may be a senior police officer may be a competent police officer, but may not necessarily be someone that has expertise in dealing with that kind of a situation. And it's normal, because I don't think every police officer can deal with everything. So his question is, were you satisfied that he was the right person for this to lead this operation, should it happen?
Well, I'll try to answer.
The thing is, whether
No, you want me to say yes or no?
The competent officer to undertake such an operation.
Because riot concerns the poacher people, the people from public order and tactical response unit. They are the ones trained for, specifically trained
they have
for
the expertise in
riots and public disorders, etc. Yes. But
you didn't answer my question. You just told me.
Yes, I know that Canberra was there, but the highest in rank was the deputy commissioner. No, but it doesn't mean that he cannot give advice and monitor and
I think you are answering
instructions.
The reason why I'm asking you this is because we have testimonies from officers who were there saying that even they felt that your deputy, Mr. Songwa, didn't possess the kind of acumen to deal with such a situation. So you wouldn't agree with them that that was the case?
Not to that extent.
Did you know? Okay, so in your briefing with Deputy Sangwa after the riot, and you said Superintendent Dakabra was there and other officers. Did Deputy Sangwa or anyone complain to you that they were taken by a surprise when they realized that the soldiers were also involved in the operation?
Deputy Sangwa told me this, yes.
That he was surprised?
Yes.
So now, why would he be surprised when earlier you said there was a standing instruction from the former president that in the event that the riot or an escape is attempted by prisoners, the military must intervene, and basically the briefing you got was that there was a riot. So why would he be surprised?
No, maybe because he got there. I don't know if he got there first before the army personnel came.
Did you ask him why he was surprised?
No, I did not.
You didn't ask him. Did you find out from your colleague CDF why the soldiers were involved?
No, but
you knew, right?
Yes, we were told earlier that, yes.
So yes. Maybe if Deputy Sangwa said to you, Chief, I was surprised that the soldiers were involved because I wasn't aware, then you would have said to him, but you shouldn't be surprised because this is part of the plan.
The night we talked, because he was in contact with me, and he knew, and he told them as well that they should be on the outer layer. Yes.
So that is what he reported to you?
Yes, yes.
But at any one time, didn't actually the soldiers were not on the outer layer, on all the periphery of the prison. They went into the prison,
yes.
And obviously, if he was the person in charge of the operation, he should have been able to say, well, "Stop! We have an issue there," especially if you have military officers going in.
And there was the lieutenant colonel as well who was there. They could have, discussed.
Yes, there's a lot of they could have, but it.
Yes, it has happened, unfortunately.
It has
Unfortunately.
Especially like if you were telling us there was the standing order in such a situation, that the police, the military would assist the police. I think there should have been some form of a team that would have been formed to be there in a situation where you have a prison riot.
The team at Potrou, as I said earlier, they train. They train almost every day about how to for quick intervention. The other ones, when I suggest what should be done in future, the other ones who know the inside out of how to handle the situation. So this is why I said the other group specialize in there's a specialist for riots, not just anybody going in and out and at any point in time, etc. They hold the loud hailers and they know the command and everything. The other ones who should just have an officer capable who knows about it just to guide them and ensure that things are done properly.
And I think, to be fair to Deputy Sangwa, when I said he was surprised about the presence of the soldiers in the operation,
Yes.
He talked about the presence inside the prison, not
outside.
no,
Yes.
I'm
understand.
clarifying my question, because I may have also asked a question that is vague.
Yes.
So when he said he was surprised about the presence of the soldiers, surprised about their presence inside, because he was aware that they are outside,
Yes.
around the
Yes,
perimeter.
I understood.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. We have any questions?
But I think Mr. Wabi, what happened that Mr. Songwa felt surprised is that information from the meetings that happened was not passed down to your deputies, for them to know at least that this was an order given by the authorities. So that's why he was surprised, because he didn't know that this was an order that had already been given.
But then an order based on a previous incident, so that, and then he talked about any other incidents, so the police and the army should assist but then yes, I did not tell him about this message from the president. But we've talked quite a bit about if there's anything in prison and they require, like when the prisoners escape, what we should do and stuff like that. So
That's what you should do as the police.
yes.
Not as what the military should do.
No, police.
So he was clear in what the police should do.
Yes.
He was not clear that the
About-
military was at the possibilities of intervention.
Yeah, like I know, the Potrou, there are people exercising, whatever, but then no information was forthcoming about a riot. So my guys was training. Pardon?
You had information that was going there of the possibility of having a riot.
It was hardly. It was. Can I say it was like a rumor? But rumor, you listen, but you find more. But if nothing comes,
But you were, I mean, the information that you had, you were even given the possibility of what time of the year that this was going to happen, and what dates that it could happen. That's information enough for you to ensure that you put things in place in such eventuality.
I don't recall those information about.
According to Mr. Wao,
So I don't recall.
If you, listened to him yesterday.
Yeah,
he told
I
us.
did.
He told
He
us
said,
that they were told it was supposed to be at the end of December.
There was nothing in concrete, in substance, and doesn't mean that we don't prepare. Like I said, my guys were already training at the port room. It doesn't mean that information coming in, we would not be engaging ACP this, ACP that, DCP, and the port room people, and just get, and with CDF as well, just to make sure that we have something. Probably a rehearsal as well. Who does the plan and everything? Who does this and that and whatever? Like the army, we always say the army stays out there. If you can't go in just like that.
Okay. So, Mr. Babe, what I want you to tell us. I've got about 5 questions, not more. I want you to tell us that during your tenure as the Commissioner of Police, did you receive any orders from the authorities which you thought were wrong, but you still had to comply and execute?
There's been several orders.
Taking into account the law, yeah?
Yes.
Okay.
I remember when I was given an ultimatum to hand in somebody to ensure that this guy is arrested by 9 p.m. That's one. But there are, yes, there's been.
There's been
Yeah.
incidences
Yes.
whereby you were given, according to you, wrong decisions, and you had to execute.
I always question, by the way. I always say that we need to. There were times that I talked to AG regarding it.
Yeah.
To ensure
But
that we
still,
are
you
on-
executed.
If AG says something, then I relay back.
Okay, but those ones that you did not bring to AG, and you were sort of told to do, like this one, you had to bring somebody at 9 o'clock in the morning,
No, 9 p.m.
9 p.m.
Yeah.
So you executed.
Yes, it was executed.
Where
yes.
did you bring that person at 9 p.m.?
No, in the cell.
In the cell.
Yes.
Okay.
That was during the time that Mr. Ali was the AG.
Ali. Ooh. Frank.
Because you said sometimes you talk to the AG.
Yes, Ali. Ali was an age that I talked to. I talked to the other one as well. I talked to him as well regarding certain things that I am not too sure, or I think it's pressing a little bit. Then I would ensure that AG knows about it. And if AG says no, it's be careful, then I would relay back. But there's been incidents that people have been. Yes.
That you've carried out.
Yes.
Orders that you thought were not correct. Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Now, you see, when we were talking about the security of the prisons, in the strategic plan of the prison services, there's a part that talks about a lot about security, yeah. And when you read this document, you will find that what needs to be done in this security aspect requires a lot of help from partners around them. And obviously you said that, did you ever get the Commissioner of Prisons to come to you with a plan, yeah? A training plan for themselves, or a security plan, in order to be able to sort of ease the pressure of what might happen?
I know she's been to the deputy, because I know of some prisoners being trained at the police academy, because deputy is in charge of police academy falls under the deputy. So, but with a plan, written down plan of, no, I've never.
Now you're talking about training now.
Training, yeah.
What about security aspect of the prison?
No, she does not know.
But then still on the strategic plan here, it talks about...
These are, if you allow me to say, these are what we are going to, the Minister for Homeland Security will be given a document regarding what we should do about the prison and the staff and the warden and who should assist the prison in times of incidents like riot or okay, escape. We know that the police are out there patrolling, etc. We can't, but the prison should have a security plan definitely, and with well-trained officers. I think I've already talked to Commissioner Denus regarding what a bit of what we are going to do.
Okay, I've got two more small questions. The first one is, do you know, or could you tell us what was your constitutional obligations to the President in your role as the Commissioner of Police?
Reporting to him of serious matters, reporting to him of crimes, give him statistics of crime, and giving him the direction of the police I'm taking. The resources, the budget, police budget, resources, the staffing, the buildings, in fact, infrastructure. In fact, it's everything to do with good governance of the force.
Okay. Now, would I be correct in, if I'm wrong, just correct me, would I be correct in saying that all of this information that you pass on to him would be sort of information for guidelines from the government to help the police service better itself? Do you think, would you say that this was the prime objective of it? So it was nothing to do with getting inside your operations?
No, not at all.
Okay. Now, lastly, Mr. Bavia, I just want you to confirm once again that there was this standing order that was given by the President that any time there was any disturbance at the prison, the military would intervene there. Why I'm saying this is because you did not need any further instructions along the line for you to do this. You already had the order.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
No questions. I think we don't have any further questions. Do you have anything that you want to share with us? That is directly relevant to Montagne Poseé.
Yeah. I think it's high time we look at the infrastructure there, the layout and the location as well. That's one. Because it's very difficult to operate in this environment the way it is, and I don't know if it has come before the Commission, this layout plan. I've just seen it recently. I think most people have seen this plan recently. The prison plan, since I was in the police force when it moved to Montagne Poseé, I've heard of Banan's case, the previous one, and stuff was about, issues was about the location and everything, the building, the infrastructure, the way it is. And we have not done much on improving the prison. The prison needs to, when it comes to the staffing, the warden, I'm sure Commissioner Dinus will, because we've already talked about it, will bring out something of relevance regarding the training and the force that should engage whenever there's an incident that requires attention, the task force, and in Judge Burian's report as well on the previous incident, Robert Bannan, there's quite a few things in there that should be implemented. There's quite a few things, and weapon controlling, limiting weapons on the premises there is one. In fact, I remember, I think I was commissioner at an early stage. I said, remove those AK-47 from the prison. I did say this. Because I know in prison you have people who's well-trained and knows how to use firearms, and I don't mean they were going to do it, but you avoid having them there. There's quite a few things, but we need to take the prison seriously.
Thank you very much, Mr. Ted Babi, and for your testimony this afternoon. You still have the right not to be victimized by anyone for the information that you have given this afternoon or which you will give in future. If anyone has information that they want to give to the Commission, or if anyone intends to challenge what you have said this afternoon, they have a right to contact the Commission so that the Commission can take or make arrangements to take that evidence. So thank you very much for that. But if you get victimized by anyone, you have several options, but one of them is that the Commission is available. You have to let us know so that we can take the appropriate measures to address that threat. If we need anything, we will let you know. But if you also come across information that you think can be helpful, especially information that you think has not come up from the beginning, because we have moved quite far, you let us know. So tomorrow we have what is supposed to be our last hearing, right?
Yes.
What time is it?
2:30 in the afternoon.
I thought you said 9:30.
In the afternoon. Nothing in the morning?
Can you check? Sure. Okay. So we are back at 2:30 for what is supposed to be the final hearing. Let me just, yeah, sure, it's 14:30. Okay, otherwise this is the end of the hearing.